Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about my postpartum and pregnancy. Let me start with my son. He's 1. His name is Mason. When I was pregnant with him, it took us, me and my boyfriend, 4 years to even try and conceive to have a baby. And then when we finally got pregnant, a week after my birthday, it was the best pregnancy ever. Like, I had no complications, none of that. And so, fast forward 9 months later, after I had Mason, I felt like I wasn't myself. Like, I wasn't as happy anymore. Anything made me cry. Anything. And that's when, of course, after your postpartum checkup, they say, we have some medicine for you. It was, I believe it was Zoloft. I could be wrong. And then a couple of months later, I start feeling better. Ooh, the new growth is real. And then after that, got myself together. I went to school to become a dental assistant. And I'm almost finished with that. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And after that, I discovered I was pregnant again with twins. And it was a good pregnancy, but the roughest pregnancy. I wouldn't say it was a bad pregnancy. My first trimester was horrible. Like, I threw up any and everything. It didn't matter if it was water, crackers, juice, milk, Alfredo, fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, you name it, I threw it up. Like, they were not having it. And then when I got to 28 weeks, everything took for the worse, because I'm RH negative. Anybody that's RH negative knows that you have to get a shot. Basically, in order not to lose your babies, you have to get this shot. Thankfully, they let me get it in my arm, because last time I got it in my hip. And whew, that was rough. And my back hurt. My hips hurt. I was so emotional, hormonal. It didn't matter. Like, 1 minute I could be so happy, and the next minute dishes are flying. And no matter what it felt like I could never get full. Like, I wanted to eat something so bad, but I never got full. Which I guess that's normal, but, and also I ended up having carpal tunnel in both of my hands. And I don't know if there's any dental assistants out there, but you're constantly working with your hands. You're suctioning, you're handing off tools, and I couldn't even handle suctioning for like 5 minutes. Couldn't do it. So when I was 33 weeks, I went to the doctor, and they told me, Miss Crystal, is everything fine? Everything going well? No, get these babies out of me, because I'm going to rip my hair out. Not because I was emotional, because I was so uncomfortable, and every little thing I could not handle it. Just one of those days. So finally, at 34 weeks, I finished up extern. I'm sorry, I'm getting twisted here. I finished up extern that day. Came home. I was getting ready to check the mail. I stood up from the bed, and my water broke. At 34 weeks for twins. I guess apparently at 34 weeks, they say that's good for them. But anything under 34 weeks is they really hadn't, I guess, developed as much. So I went to the hospital, of course. You know, they take your vitals and all that. Make sure your water's broke. So when they asked me, they were like, "Are you feeling okay, Samantha?" Like, I'm fine. Why? You have 102 fever, and your blood pressure is 180 over, I forgot, like 70 or something like that, which is really high. And mind you, before, I've never had high blood pressure problems. I never had gestational diabetes, never been diagnosed with preeclampsia, none of that. So I really wanted to push my babies out because I had a fear of being cut open, and it just been weird of just being cut open and talking. And so before then, a million and one things was running through my mind. And so, of course, Michael missed the birth. He missed the birth because he was working, which upsetted me a lot because he missed Mason's birth as well. That's a whole nother story. I didn't even have time to say what I wanted to do because they were really hell-bent on not letting me push whatsoever. And every minute or every hour that I waited, my blood pressure would get worse. It would go up and go up and go up, and my fever would go up and would go up. So they were finally like, "We can't wait. We're just going to go ahead and get you in right now." So I went back there, and next thing I know, they were out. They were all out. I'll show you pictures and everything. I look like a hot mess. But they were out. I barely remember them pulling out Parker. Zoe, I remember they put her next beside me. She was so beautiful. So beautiful. They're both beautiful. But after that, everything was a blur. So after they got me back to my room, they asked me if I wanted to see the babies. I said no. I guess it was from all the drugs and stuff they were pumping in me. And I remember shaking so much, not because I was cold, I guess because I was coming off the medicine, just shaking. And then they told me my results for my spike, I guess. I didn't have preeclampsia. It was like no sign of preeclampsia, none of that. It was just one of those things that happened. And I was just in shock. Like, I don't know what it could have possibly been, and they don't even know what it possibly could have been. So Michael came to the hospital. He ran to the hospital, and we both got to see our daughters. They were in the NICU. And when you get there, you know, nobody wants to see their kids or a child in the NICU not hooked up the way they were hooked up. They both had IVs in their hand. Zoe was on oxygen in a feeding tube. Parker, she didn't have to have oxygen or anything like that. But they were both on antibiotics because I guess the fever and the spike and all that stuff, and it was just a lot, you know, to handle. Just seeing them like that. Sorry, I got emotional. But, you know, after the storm comes a rainbow. So, the whole entire week I was in the hospital. Yes, I was in there for like a week. I don't know. Some people were in there for like 2 days, 3 days. I was in there for a full week. and I loved every minute of it. And that third, no, fourth day I was there, they were able to go to the nursery, which is really, really good for them. And when they went to the nursery, I was so happy, jumping for joy. They were able to come home when I came home. And usually, sometimes parents have to, babies that are in the NICU, sometimes they're there for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, whatever the case may be. And it was just wonderful. They took really good care of them. And by the way, if you live in Kentucky or whatever, it's the women's hospital, and they are really good. They really take care of you, and it's just amazing there. But I'll talk about the women's hospital after I talk about the babies. And so they were able to eat. Well, in order for them to, let me backtrack. In order for them to go to the nursery, they will have to eat at least over 20 ml of the little baby bottles. They will have to eat over that or at that mark in order to move on from the NICU to the nursery. So they were both able to do that. And when they were born, I'm sorry, let me go back a little bit. They were both 4 pounds, 17 inches. And that's good for twins, apparently. And so, when they moved to the nursery and everything, that's good news, for me. Plus, being a first-time mom and everything, you're worried about your baby or your babies. And, you just got 1,001 things running through your mind. But I was so happy that they were just able to be that strong and move on from that. I wish I can do that, And so yeah, I want to talk about the women's hospital. So, I don't know, there are some hospitals that are, big. Here in Kentucky, there's a hospital, but it's, a hospital and a university. So, it's, a teaching school. Not that that's bad or anything, but when I'm having a baby, the last thing I want is a student in there while I'm giving birth or getting cut open. That's not my cup of tea. But the women's hospital, it's one building, 3 levels. It's in, it's out. They're very good on their security there, and it's really open. There's on the first level, there's the doctor's offices. So say if you have a doctor's appointment, and let's say that day you go into labor, it's all in one building. You don't have to go across town, none of that. When you get there, it's really, really nice. They take care of you, and you're never alone. And the nurses there, they're past nurses. They're your what do I want to call that? They're your therapist, more in a way. If you're really scared, how I was, shout out to Miss Ashley, because she was she knew I was really scared of being cut open, but she was there the whole entire time. She held my hand. She let me know everything's okay. She even told me her story about having a C-section and all that. And they really take care of you there. So, as far as that goes, I'm just trying to recuperate. I have twins, and I have twins, and then I have a toddler. So that's a lot. So, I'm gonna just wind on down and talk to y'all next video. You know, I'm new to this vlog thing, so yeah, I think everything will be alright. You know, I'm not the perfect person in the world, and you know, everybody learns from their mistakes, I believe. But you know, my kids, they are like perfect. They're perfect. I'm not a perfect person, but they are. And if they just keep on doing what they're doing, everything will be fine. We'll be alright. Talk to you all later.